Dear students, in this class we are going to discuss about components for embedded programs. So the important components required to make simple embedded programs are state machine model, queuing and circular buffer, etc. So the first one, state machine model. So if you take any embedded system, that system behavior based on the what type of input is received as well as what is the current status of the system. So based on these two only, the system will execute the results. So if you want to define everything in terms of practical manner, we need FSM model. So the finite state machine model will help you what is the system behavior, what kind of inputs it is going to receive, based on the inputs how the system will react. So everything will be specified with the help of the FSM model only. Let me take an example. So here we have a car model. So everybody we know a car which is actually having a seat belt in both the front seat as well as the back seat. So let me consider a driver seat. So in a driver seat there will be a belt and there will be even buzzer also there, and over the seat belt we can have a sensors there. So initially if there is no person inside the car, let me call say it is idle state. So there is no person in this seat. So no seat, it means that no person in this seat. So that is idle state. So no need to make on timer as well as no need to do any activity because no one present inside the car or in this seat. Suppose if a person seated, let me take a driver, okay, let me consider a driver. If the driver is seated, so now the person is available in the respective seat, and now the timer will be getting on. So why the timer getting on? Because the timer or the sensor sense the person presence, and after, even though the person seated, still it has to wait whether the person have to wear seat belt or not. So far it has to wait maybe 10 more seconds or 15 more seconds. So that's why the timer will be getting on. So if the person it's still the person is seated but is not belted, so immediately the timer will be initiated and send control signal to the buzzer. Okay, so even though person is seated but not belted, so what happens? So the timer count 10, 9, 7. So the time will be increased up to 10 seconds or 15 seconds. So once the threshold value reaches, so still the person not wear the belt means, so obviously the control signal will be generated that will reaches to the buzzer in order to make some alert signal. So we can get some alert sound. So from that we can understand that still the person not wearing any belt. And sometime, okay, so now the person in case to itself again there will be another option will be there. So if the person is seated and after within the threshold level, maybe 10 seconds, let me take 10 seconds. So now within 10 seconds the person who is belted. So okay, so now the person is seated within the predefined, within the threshold time, the person is belted. So no need to send any control signal to the buzzer, because what happens? So within the within the threshold time, the person is belted, so that no need to make any control signal to reach buzzer on. So the buzzer is off. Okay, so in this way how the model will be developed with respect to embedded programs, that let me see. Okay, so normally the 4 different cases we required. So let me go for switch cases. So for idle state, and the person, if the person is seated and if the person is belted, or if you want to make turn on or turn off buzzer. Okay, so for switch case, for why we go for switch case? Because different number of options will be there and different number of situation will be occurs. So I can go for switch case. And first of all we have to check the current state, that is called idle state. So what is idle state? In idle state, it may be a person not available. Okay, so when the idle state will, how to define idle state? if the still the seat is not still the seat is not occupied by the person. Okay, so so we can say that the case name is actually idle and if seat, because why we called it, why we say that is ideal state, because no one is available on the seat, so that's why if seat. So here why we take the condition is seat, because how to define ideal state, no one in the seat, so that's why we can define the condition if seat. How to define state? So we have to check whether the person is seated or not. Okay, if the person is seated, then condition is true. So it means that if a person is available on the seat, means now the condition is actually, it is not a ideal condition, so the person is available. Okay, and if the person is seated, okay, if the person is seated, and we have to check whether the person is belted or not. Okay, so that is the next case. Okay, the person is seated, next thing we have to check whether the person is belted or not, whether he wear belt or not. Okay, suppose a person won't suppose the person, okay, didn't wear a belt, what happens? So immediately buzzer will be activated. Okay, so in ideal case we have to check the condition of seat. If the person is seated, then we have to check whether the person is belted or not. If the person is belted, no need to activate the buzzer. If the person is not belted, means then we can make turn on buzzer. And the next case will be belt. Okay, so in what case the belt, we have to check whether what case the belt will be activated or deactivated. So if the person is not in the seat, still the belt is there, so that is called actually ideal state. So in ideal state, still belt is only available, or if the person is available in the seat and if he wear belted. Okay, so we have to check in two cases. Okay, so if no one available on the seat, okay, or the person is available, so the case will be having two different modes. Okay, so if the person is not in the seat, that is called person left. If the person is not in the seat, that is called ideal state. Suppose if a person is available, okay, the person still available in this seat, so that is seated actually. Okay, so that we have to check. And the next case will be buzzer. So when the buzzer will be activated or when the buzzer will be deactivated, when the person is not wear belt, then immediately turn on buzzer. Suppose a person who wear the belt, it means if the person belted, no need to turn off buzzer. That is one thing. And another thing, if the person is not available inside the car, okay, so that is called actually ideal state. For this situation, no need to turn off buzzer. Okay, so when we turn on buzzer, the person is available, but still the within the defined time, if the person not wear the belt, means obviously buzzer will be getting on, and it has to give some alert sound. So when the person is not inside the car, or the person who wear the belt actually in correct time, within the correct time, so no need to make turn on the buzzer. Okay, so both of this we can have how the state mission model will help you the status of your internal systems. Thank you, students.